Hey there, Ravens flock. Welcome back to Baltimore Talk, the weekly podcast giving you a recap of every Baltimore Ravens game from now to postseason. I'm your host, Anthony Propst, and I'll be giving you everything you missed, plus my own personal thoughts, opinions, and analysis. Yesterday, we witnessed the unfortunate game in Week 15 against the Cleveland Browns, and I don't know what to say else about it. Like, we saw some really bad things. We saw some very surprising things that we never thought we'd see ever in the history of life. And we had some, I don't even know how to describe it or what to say about it, honestly, when it comes to how the game was played. But we'll get through all that, starting with the opening coin toss, with Baltimore winning the opening coin toss and electing to defer. As we all know, that is the smart and the right option as usual. Always elect to defer the phone when you get it in your favor. And that coin, it was in Baltimore's favor, but the game was not, unfortunately. So, starting things off, on the first play of the game, it was a 1st and 10. On the first play, Cleveland did get a gain of 5. Then on the next play, on 2nd and 5, they are stuffed and stopped at the line, which was very nice. Our defense, it wasn't on point like it usually is, but they had some pretty decent moments yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. It was a really interesting game. I'll be frank. It was a battle, but it was not one that went in our favor. So on 3rd and 5, a pass is thrown, and it is incomplete. So on the first set of downs, Baltimore forces a 3-and-out, forcing the Browns to punt for the first time yesterday, which, this being a Saturday game in Cleveland, Baltimore's not used to the snow. We played in a game that started snowing halfway through, and we're not used to that. So I have to blame a little bit on the weather conditions of throwing off Baltimore's game. It was cold. The ball was not able to get gripped by hands. So I will say that. I will give them that. But it is now 1st and 10. Demarcus Robinson, he had the ball but fumbles at the 15-yard line, and it ends up going out of bounds for a loss of 7. So now it is 2nd and 17, and it is a handoff from Tyler Huntley. And honestly, I believe it was J.K. Dobbins who got this one here, if I remember correctly. So that one put us and gave us an extra 8 yards. So now we are on 3rd and 9, and it is unfortunately an incomplete pass to Mark Andrews. But there was pass interference on Cleveland, so we might have missed it, but we did end up getting the first down anyway due to pass interference. And with that pass interference, that led to a new set of downs. Because if not, we would have had to punt the ball away. But now it's 1st and 10. J.K. Dobbins, the man he is, he got 6 yards on that, which was so spectacular to see. Him and Gus Edwards yesterday, they were the men yesterday on offense, really running the show. It was great to see. Because now it is 2nd and 4, and Gus, the bus, he carries for a very good amount of yards, and he ends up getting the first down. He ended up running for 6 yards on that play. So now it is another new set of downs. It is 1st and 10. Tyler Huntley, he ends up having to take it himself, and he goes for only 3 yards. Nothing crazy. But J.K. Dobbins, he gets a spectacular 16-yard run, and he ends up getting the first once again. Now it is 1st and 10. Again, Dobbins, they were just feeding this man yesterday. Let me tell you, they were just feeding him like it was a Thanksgiving dinner. You know what I mean? But on that play, he ended up only getting 3, so it is now 2nd and 7. He ends up going for another 6 yards, which is absolutely beautiful, but he stopped just short. So now it's 3rd and short. Gus Edwards, he almost gets across, but they didn't end up giving it to him. It looked like he got it from the naked eye, but after watching the replay, it showed that he did not make it across that plane and move the chains, unfortunately. So now it is 4th and 1, and Patrick Card, he is stopped just shy of the line once again, so this forces a turnover, giving it back to Cleveland. The first turnover of the day from Baltimore. Now back on defense, with it being 1st and 10 for Cleveland, first play of the drive, they end up converting and getting a first down. Then on the next play, another 1st and 10. Nick Chubb, he ends up gaining 7 on this one. And then Deshaun Watson finally able to play after missing half the season due to his entire thing happening. But even with all that being said, he's still a great ball player, so it is nice to see him out on the field. I wish it wasn't against us, because it would have been nice to catch a victory, but it is what it is. on his play here, he ends up throwing an incomplete with only 5 minutes, 34 seconds left in the first quarter. Now it is 3rd and 4, which I don't know how they got backed up a yard. It didn't really make sense. Like, that was just being a little weird. But now it's 3rd and 4, and the Browns do convert on first downs. Now it is 1st and 10, but Odafe Owe gets a beautiful stop here, and that was absolutely nice to see after they only gained a yard. So on the next play, it is Marlon Humphrey who gets a stop on 2nd and 9 after they get a gain of 8. And like I said, our defense, we had some good moments. We had some good things going on. But now it is 3rd and 1, and again, the Browns do convert. And after that, they were just running all over us. I'm not going to lie to you. They were really doing things that we know how to take care of and know how to stop. But that is neither here nor there. We all see things differently, us as fans, us as the Ravens flock. We all see things differently. We all see things that we think could have happened or shouldn't have happened. But it is what it is, because on the next play, 1st and 10, Njoku from Cleveland, he ends up getting the first. Then Kyle Hamilton on the next play, beautiful. He really stepped up yesterday, and he ends up getting a nice quarterback sack on Deshaun Watson and ends up dropping them back for a loss of 17 yards. And then on the next play, on 2nd and 17, they only gain 2, and that is how you end the first quarter. And I'm not going to lie, that sack really helped us out on defense. But if I had anything to say about the first quarter, it wasn't a great one, honestly. It's 0-0 at the moment. We haven't done anything crazy or spectacular. Only really good thing was J.K. Dobbins getting that beautiful 16-yard run and all those carries he had to just run it. But we really didn't have things going for us like we usually do. That one was it was a lackluster quarter. I know it was second game of the day. It was 4:30 on a Saturday, which we're not used to playing after having a short week. And it just, I don't really know how to describe it off the top of my head per se. You know what I mean, Ravens flock? It was an okay quarter. There's nothing crazy on, honestly, either side of the ball. It just a couple first downs, moving the chains and having to get rid of it. That if one turnover each, one from a punt, one from a forced turnover on a 4-and-1, but that's about it. Nothing too crazy or spectacular. So let's get it rolling and right into the second quarter. It's now 3rd and 15 for Cleveland. They throw a incomplete pass. So now on 4th and 15, they go for the 47-yard field goal attempt, which they do get, now putting them up 3-0 at the start of the second quarter over us in Baltimore. And I hate to see that. We all hate to see our team trail. And we usually, up until a while ago, we had been on a 4-game win streak. And we were trailing by the start of the second, even the end of the first. Sometimes we were tied, but we weren't always. But I feel once we're trailing and we're in the face of adversity, I feel like that's when we really do our best work. So moving on to the next set, after the kickoff, after that 47-yard field goal, it is now Baltimore's turn back on the field and back on offense. First play of the drive, J.K. Dobbins, he gets the handoff, runs for a meaning 12 yards, a measly 12 yards, a meaningful, crazy 12 yards. Absolutely amazing, absolutely beautiful. Then on the next play, unfortunately, it is a 1st and 10, and Tyler Huntley, he is forced out of bounds after a loss of 3. He was trying to find his open receiver, trying to find his open man, and he couldn't. And he ended up staying in the pocket too long and dropped back 3 yards and had to just jump out of bounds. So now on 2nd and 13, it is a incomplete pass to Mark Andrews. And Mark, he's without Lamar Jackson, with Mark usually being Lamar's favorite target, and Mark not having Lamar due to Lamar's knee sprain injury, which I believe he should be back next week. I would love to see him come back finally. He's been out for 2 weeks now. Hopefully he's resting up, getting well, and feeling better soon. But If not, we still have a great quarterback. Tyler Huntley is still a great quarterback. Do not get me wrong. Tyler Huntley is a great backup quarterback, and he's been doing phenomenal the past couple weeks. So I will not tear him down at all. But now on 3rd and 13, Justice Hill, he gets the nice handoff, and he gets a beautiful first down, which it was so nice to see him get that first down. Justice Hill being older up there in the league, being at that age where he himself has said that his body isn't at the same level as some of these younger cats. And it's still nice to see him just be able to do these crazy types of things. Like Justice Hill, he is definitely a great player. I have nothing bad to say about him at all. He is a beautiful man and a great player. Now, on the next set of downs, on the next drive, it is 1st and 10. J.K. Dobbins, he gets a nice 5-yard run. Then on 2nd and 5, unfortunately, it is, and I'll even say this, on 2nd and 5 and 3rd and 5, it is 2 incomplete passes to Deshaun Jackson. He couldn't reel those ones in. I don't know what happened. He just couldn't get them handled, couldn't get them reeled in. And I wish he did, because he really had it going. And it was absolutely amazing, because just like him, Deshaun Jackson, he's a great player. He's a great receiver. But unfortunately, he could not pull those in. So on 4th and 5, Ravens are forced to punt for the first time today. So now it is 1st and 10 for Cleveland, and it is an incomplete pass, which no problem for me. No complaints. Now on 2nd and 10, Roquan Smith, our man, the giant, the beast, the crazy man, he gets a beautiful stop, and this actually is a loss of 1 for them. He ends up pushing them back by a yard when he got this stop. So now on 3rd and 11, Justin Houston, he ends up getting the tackle. And this was even better, because there was also a holding flag on Cleveland at the same time. So that really added insult to injury for this Cleveland drive here, I'm not going to lie to you. Now it's 4th and 11, and the Browns are forced to punt for the second time today, which no problem, no complaints from me. It is now 1st and 10, and Mark Andrews, he had it, but it did end up getting knocked out of his hands. He had the ball, he caught it from where he was, but ended up getting swatted out of his hands at the last second. So that was unfortunate for us to see, as, again, big Mark Andrews fan that I am, because of how amazing he is. Now it is 2nd and 10. J.K. Dobbins, he gets another carry again today, and he carries that one all the way for 7 yards. So he is now on 3rd and 3 and takes the ball from him for himself yet again, and he ends up getting the first down. Now it's 1st and 10. Gus the Bus Edwards, he gets a gain of 7. 2nd and 3. Edwards again. This time he gains 11. And this one, there was a flag on the play, so it added extra yards for us because it was a neutral zone infraction on Cleveland. So not only does Gus Edwards run for 11 yards, and we get an extra 5 on top of that for the neutral zone infraction. So now it is 1st and 10, new set of downs. But unfortunately, J.K. Dobbins, after he gets the handoff, he is tackled behind the line of scrimmage, and this is a loss of 1, unfortunately, for us. And we all hate to see loss of yardage. We never want to see, you never want to see negative progress. You always want to see forward progress. Now on 2nd and 11, J.K. Dobbins, once again, and like I said, this man was absolutely the favorite yesterday. He was just getting this ball like it was going out of style. It's 2nd and 11, and he gains a nice 3 yards. So now it is 3rd and 8. The ball comes loose and is recovered for a loss of a couple, and so this one here, when it happened, it got the snap, but this was just like last week, another handoff from Tyler Huntley, and it was just not in the right way, and it got knocked out of his hands, and it was a forced out, unfortunately. So on 4th down, Justin Tucker going for a 53-yard field goal, and he does make it, now the score being 3-3 in the second quarter. Now back on defense once again after that beautiful field goal. It is now 1st and 10 for Cleveland, and Kyle Hamilton, he gets a nice stop after, unfortunately, Cleveland does get a gain of 6 yards. So on 2nd and 4, Nick Chubb, once again, he gets the ball, gets the handoff, but he is stopped just shy of the first down marker. So it is 3rd and short. I was jumping ahead of myself here, guys. It is 3rd and short, and Chuck Clark, he gets a saving stop after 19 yards because they ended up really running that ball. This one here, let me tell you, this one was crazy. They got the handoff, got the first down, and they were going. But luckily, Chuck Clark, he ends up getting a lucky stop after, unfortunately, they got 19 yards, but it could have been more if he didn't. So shout out to Chuck Clark for getting the great stop here. It is now 1st and 10 for Cleveland, and Marcus Williams, he ends up getting a great stop here. And yeah, they did end up getting 5 yards, but it is what it is. It's not, aside from the fact that you don't want to see them get yardage, it's how well they handle that. And they definitely handled that well by getting a nice stop here. So, with that being said, now it is 1st and 10 once again, and the Browns, in back-to-back succession, they end up getting the first downs back-to-back. And one of those was Njoku, who got the second one. And it was I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know how to describe it. With Baltimore, like, our defense is usually a lot better than that. And I don't know how to define it, how to say it, but I don't know what was really happening. I blame the cold. Baltimore doesn't usually play in the cold like that. So I would have to say it was the weather conditions that were really throwing off our game yesterday, because we're not used to playing in these types of weather conditions. Yeah, I know it's December. Everybody plays in the cold, but this is a different type of cold. You know what I mean? Like, we don't usually play in this type of weather. So we just were not us like we usually are. But that can be changed, that can be rectified, and I see that happening next week. But before we get into talking about next week, we got to get through our current game of the Cleveland Browns. So now it is 1st and goal here, and Kyle Hamilton, he gets a nice break up here, and he is able to keep them from getting a completed pass and a touchdown. So now it's 2nd and goal, and Tyus Bowser also gets a nice stop. This now hitting the 2-minute warning before halftime. And it's now 3rd and goal. Once again, another incomplete pass. And then 4th and goal, Cleveland ends up getting the field goal, now pushing it to 6-3 with them being on top. And again, we trailed going in a half before, and things had turned around. But I really don't know what to say or how to do it here. But it's now 1st and 10 for Baltimore. We're back on offense. And Isaiah Likely, him too. Him and J.K. Dobbins, I have to say, those two, those two were the favorites yesterday. Isaiah Likely more in the second half, and J.K. Dobbins the first. But they had an equal amount of their name being thrown out there yesterday, I'm going to be honest. So on 1st and 10, he gets a beautiful gain of 9 yards after a nice pass from Tyler Huntley. It's now 2nd and 1, and Justice Hill, he ends up getting the first. And then 1st and 10, Tyler Huntley, he ends up taking it and had to slide for only 3 yards, so it's 2nd and 7. And there was an incomplete pass to Isaiah Likely, but he makes up for it on the third down here. It is 3rd and 7. He ends up getting the first. Shout out to Isaiah Likely for this beautiful one. And then Baltimore will take their first timeout of the half right here. And that was only a 30-second timeout. So once we come back from that 30-second timeout, it's 1st and 10. This, unfortunately, was a high snap and ended up having a flag due to a delay of game. And it is what it is, because it was a high snap anyway, so it was better that we take the delay game penalty, which I'm okay with. Then on the next play, Tyler Huntley, he unfortunately throws an incomplete pass to Isaiah Likely. I wish he had gotten this, because this would have given us the first. But it's now 2nd and 15. Demarcus Robinson, he ends up getting a nice pass of 6 yards and ends up moving the offense up just a little bit. Now it's 3rd and 9, and Mark Andrews, he gets a big pass. And this really is where Mark got his attention of the day, because that was something, I'm not going to lie. That big pass, I'm telling you, like, this big 3rd and 9 pass from Mark Andrews was absolutely beautiful, and you love to see him do it. So now on the next play, 1st and 10, Tyler Huntley, he ends up gaining a decent amount of yards, and I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember off the top of my head, is they were just running the game, and they didn't put up. They'd only had it first down, second down. They didn't have how many yards till the next one, so I wasn't able to remember exactly off the top of my head. And I apologize, Ravens flock. Everybody makes mistakes from time to time, and this just happened to be one of my times. So now, on second down, Justin Tucker, after we take our second timeout of the half, because after this gain by Tyler Huntley, we end up taking another 30-second timeout. But now on second down, for the first time in almost 4 years since December 22nd of 2018, Justin Tucker missed a 48-yard field goal right before halftime. And Justin Tucker has not missed a field goal under 50 yards since, like I just said, December 22nd of 2018. He's led the league in consecutive field goals under 50 yards since that game, and this was the first time he has missed it. And he had a press conference after the game, and you could tell he was not happy about it, because it is a complete phenomenon that you never see happen. This is one of those things that you just don't see happen, and it blew my mind. I don't even know what to say or how to think about that, because that's how they ended the half, going 6-3, us trailing by a field goal, and this one would have put us up, but the weather, the snow, the wind blowing, that is what I personally believe is the reason why he missed it. But it is just absolutely blew my mind to see him miss this, and I don't even know how to think about it or what to say about it. But all I have to say is, with it now being halftime, us about to start the third quarter in a little bit, I don't really know what to say. Like, it wasn't Baltimore offense or defense like it usually is. Honestly, like, my halftime thoughts, I don't really know what they are. I don't know what to say, because it's just not Baltimore offense or defense like we see it. Like, we usually see better playmaking and better play calling from our team on both sides of the ball. Usually we usually have better offensive schemes. We usually have better defensive series. We have been, like I said, we won the past 4 games in a row. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what changed. Like, this was not Baltimore like we know and love. And believe me, I love Baltimore, have for 10 years now, and I will continue to love Baltimore till my last day. But this was just, I don't really know what to say or how to think. Like, yes, that missed field goal from Justin Tucker never happens. Don't know how it happened, but he already kicked himself enough for that, for everybody. He beat himself up enough, and as he will say, because I will play it afterwards, he felt that one on him personally. But just it was not a good first half, and unfortunately it transpires in the second half. I really don't know how to say, what to do, what to think. Like, this was one of those Baltimore halves that is usually a better one than we usually have, and I really don't know what to say or what to think. I honestly, I don't know, folks. So, with all that being kind of said, we're going to push it now into the third quarter, starting with Baltimore having the ball. Like I said, we won the coin toss, so we will be receiving the ball at the start of the second half. It is now 1st and 10. Justice Hill, he gets a handoff and gets a gain of 3 yards. Then on the next play, 2nd and 7, Demarcus Robinson, he gets the first down. J.K. Dobbins, a great run of 24 yards. Now it's 1st and 10 again. Dobbins once again back-to-back. This time he gets only 5 yards. Then on the next play, 2nd and 5, Gus the Bus Edwards, he gets a nice first down. Then 1st and 10, Gus Edwards, now this time only gets a gain of 1. Then on the next play, 2nd and 9, we gain 3 yards. 3rd and 6, Tyler Huntley, he had to take it himself this time. He ends up getting the first down. and he ended up running that himself and getting out of bounds. But then on the next play, on 1st and 10, unfortunately, he is dropped back for only a loss of 3 yards, which, like I said, you never want to see negative yardage. But this was another one of those times. So now it is 2nd and 13. Dobbins, he gains 3. This was a great one because it's J.K. Dobbins. I don't even know how to sing this man's praises any harder or any louder. But now it's 3rd and 10. This was an incomplete pass to Devin Duvernay, who also was kind of quiet yesterday on the offensive side. And there were 2 flags. There was holding on Baltimore and a neutral zone infraction on Cleveland. So these 2 offset themselves, so it'll repeat 3rd down. But this time, there was an interception in the red zone. We are in the red zone on 3rd and 10, and there was an interception thrown. And this is the only one of the day, but it definitely stung a lot that this one happened. And Tyler Huntley, he was not happy about it when it happened either. You could see it on the replay and on his face. He was very upset that happened. And so was I, honestly, because I hate to see my team get intercepted. But it's now 1st and 10 for Cleveland, and it is an incomplete pass, luckily. Then on the next play, it is 2nd and 10, and they end up getting a gain of 3. And that, boy, this is where things really started to turn around, because on 3rd and 7, unfortunately, there was a face mask penalty, and it was on Marlon Humphrey, and he had a beautiful sack in the backfield, but with that face mask penalty, that really messed him up and took away his great play, which, yeah, you could see it, but, like, it wasn't like... It was kind of more of like a slap than a grab, so you kind of could let it go both ways, I guess. But unfortunately, they gave him that face mask penalty, and I was very upset, as I'm sure a lot of you were. It was not a good one yesterday. I don't even know how to keep saying that, unfortunately, because Baltimore, we're better than that. We know this. Baltimore, we're a great football team. We have, actually, you know what? Before I say all that, we'll get into that after. Let's get through the second half. All right, folks. So now it's 1st and 10 once again, and Cleveland, they do get another 1st down. Then on the next play, they throw an incomplete pass. Unfortunately, well, unfortunately for them, not for us. It was definitely nice to see them mess up a couple times. So now on 2nd and 10, they go for a very long pass and do convert. So now it's 1st and 10. Cleveland gains 5 yards. 2nd and 5, they are stopped just short of the 1st down, which is nice. So now it's 3rd and 1. They don't end up getting it, and then they decide to go for it on 4th and 1, and they do end up getting it. Surprise, surprise. Now, 1st and goal, the Browns, they get a gain of 4 yards. 2nd and goal, they get a pass, and that one is incomplete, thankfully. But on 3rd and goal, they end up getting the touchdown, and it is now 13-3 with Cleveland leading by 10. And unfortunately, this was a bad one. I was so upset to see that. It's now 1st and 10 for Baltimore after that Cleveland touchdown. And Demarcus Robinson, he gets the first and is pushed, and the ball is punched out of hand, and it is turned over. And this one, they literally just got back on offense. The first play of the game, Demarcus Robinson gets the ball, and as soon as he runs with it, it is stripped right from him, and it is turned over to Cleveland. 2nd turnover of the day from Baltimore, or 3rd technically, 2 forced. Well, technically, yeah, 2 forced technically, and 1 was a pick in the red zone. And this, like I said, this was not Baltimore offense or defense yesterday. But now on 1st and 10, Cleveland, they go with their first play, and is now a gain of 8. And I don't even know how to say it, Ravens flock. This game breaks my heart. We had the better record. We beat Cleveland in the beginning of the season. Granted, that was only by a field goal, but we still beat them last time. So it was a tough one. And just thinking back on it already, 24 hours later, it still hurts. The pain has not gone away yet. We haven't gotten the start of the new week yet, so it's a tough one. But I'm going to continue to give you this recap in case for those who missed it, because I don't want you to miss out on anything. So now, on 2nd and 2 for Cleveland, they throw an incomplete pass, and then it is now 3rd and 2. And on this, they end up getting the first down, but there was a holding flag on Cleveland, so that was good for us. And that pushed them back to 3rd and 12, and then Deshaun Watson is sacked in the backfield once again, and I believe that one was by Kyle Hamilton. I believe that was who got that sack. I don't personally remember off the top of my head. If someone wants to maybe leave a comment or DM me on Instagram or on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, wherever you happen to get the notification for this, you can just tell me off the play, because this was in the middle of the 3rd quarter when Deshaun Watson was sacked. So it is so nice to see that. We love to see quarterback sacks from our defense. We love to see them take care of that. But now it's 4th and 12, and Cleveland is forced to punt once again for the 2nd time today. Thankfully, we forced them into a punt, which was very nice. Now back on offense for Baltimore. The first play, J.K. Dobbins busts and runs for 35 yards. 35 yards. This man gets the handoff, and he just breaks through the line and just runs, and he goes. And this was absolutely beautiful, absolutely spectacular to see. Then on the next play, on 1st and 10, Devin Duvernay, for the 2nd time today on offense, tries to get the ball, but unfortunately that one goes nowhere. Then on the next play, on 2nd and 10, Gus Edwards, he gets a nice short little run of 4. So now it's 3rd and 6, and 2nd time today that Mark Andrews tries to get the ball, but it's incomplete. And everybody's been saying and questioning and wondering, well, if Lamar's still hurt, are you going to target Mark? And John Harbaugh has said, we're just doing what we feel we can do. I think that they haven't been targeting Mark because with Tyler Huntley and Mark Andrews not having that type of team chemistry like that, yes, they have chemistry because they're teammates, obviously, but they haven't built up that quarterback tight end relationship like Mark and Lamar, because when you think of Lamar Jackson as a quarterback, you think of Mark Andrews as the tight end. And with Tyler Huntley, lately we've been seeing him give handoffs to J.K. Dobbins, or we've been seeing him hit Isaiah Likely in previous games. So I personally believe that I don't think Mark Andrews is going to get the love and the recognition like he usually does until Lamar is back in. And with us only having 3 games left in the regular season, we're just trying to win out and trying to beat the Bengals and win our division. And with Cincinnati winning today, it's gonna be hard for us to win the division now, because we're now 9-5. I believe that's what our record is. Actually, hold on. You know what? I'm actually incorrect about that. That is not what our record is, actually. Actually, I was right. With us having a 9-5 winning streak now, or a 9-5 record, I should say, not a winning streak, because our winning streak was broken. I kept saying that we had a 4-game winning streak, and I was incorrect. But with that, we have 1 game with Tampa Bay. We have with them 1 over. They're now 9-4 after tonight. We are 9-5, and we're just trying to win out and win our division over them, and we will see them in a few weeks. We will be seeing Cincinnati in a few weeks. So we just got to try and get things done, but it's I don't even know if we'll have Lamar back or if we're going to see Mark Andrews get favorited in the last 3 games of the regular season before playoffs. And as long as we win the next 3 games and hopefully get things done, because we'll see Cincinnati in the last game of the year, then we play Atlanta next week and Steelers after that, and we just gotta win out the division to get the postseason. But before I get to the end of that, after Mark's 3rd and 6 incomplete pass, it is now 4th and 6, and on a 50-yard field goal from Justin Tucker, it is blocked. The first time that I remember in the past however many years that someone has actually been able to block a Justin Tucker field goal. In this one, he was really angry. He took his helmet off. He slammed it. Justin was not happy, and everybody understands why he wouldn't be happy. I was not happy. I was damn near surprised. I was shocked. Honestly, I was shocked. It was absolutely insane to see Justin Tucker get a field goal blocked, because no one's ever good enough to do that, especially not to him, because he's a great ball player. But on the next play here, after that happened, it is now 1st and 10 for Cleveland, and it is an incomplete pass. And then on 2nd and 10, there was a delay of game flag, but it was right before, so they end up snapping right at the 0, and somehow there was no delay of game, and they end up gaining 3. So now on 3rd and 7, Deshaun Watson, he decides to take it himself and slide for the first down, which he does get. Now on 1st and 10, they get a gain of 4. Then on the next play, on 2nd and 6, there was a loss of a yard, but Calais Campbell was hurt with a knee injury, and he was questionable to return, and I don't believe he did return for the rest of the game. And I believe that he will be inactive for a few days, but hopefully he will be back next week. And we're just going to keep it rolling here. I'm not going to even break it up to go into the fourth quarter. We're just going to roll right through, right near the end. We're just going to keep it going. So now on 3rd and 11, because I don't understand how the way they broadcast this is so weird, how they just put up the wrong numbers, because it went from 2nd and 6 and a loss of 1 to now 3rd and 11. But on 3rd and 11, they are stopped. So after they get a gain of 9, but now on 4th and 2, they go for a field goal, and they miss a 38-yard field goal, which I understand because, like I said, weather conditions permitting and all that, it was a bad day. I'm going to be honest. The snow was not really helping out anybody yesterday. But now on 1st and 10, Baltimore, we end up going offsides, and that's fundamentals day 1, is know the snap count, learn the snap count. And I really don't know what to say or what to think. So it's now 1st and 15. Devin Duvernay, he gets a beautiful 10-yard pass. This one was absolutely great. So with that pass, it is now 2nd and 5. And Mark Andrews, but this is where he got his just dues. This is where things got better for him, because he gets the first down on this play here. And with that first, it was absolutely nice to see. And like I said, I am a huge Mark Andrews fan. He's absolutely amazing. So now on the next play here, it is 1st and 10. Demarcus Robinson, he gets a beautiful gain of 6 yards. 2nd and 4 is an incomplete. Unfortunately, from Tyler Huntley, this one was on the route to Isaiah Likely, but that one he couldn't reel in. So now on 3rd and 4, it is another incomplete pass to Mark Andrews. And then here on 4th and 4, we decided to go for it, which I'm not sure why we decided to go for it, which is such an awkward thing. Like, it's 4th and 4. I personally believe we should have just kicked the punt or kicked the field goals. I believe we were in range for it. So with that being said, I think we should have just let it go instead of trying to go for it. That's one of those decisions that we shouldn't have made, because that's another turnover, because that on 4th and 4 was incomplete to Prochet. So now on 1st and 10 for Cleveland, they get a gain of 6, and after that, it is 2nd and 4. They end up gaining 3. 3rd and 1, they're stopped just shy of the first. And now 4th and 1, they end up diving over it and getting the first down completion. So now on their next set of downs, on 1st and 10, they end up getting a gain of 8. 2nd and 2, they convert. 1st and 10, gain of 3. 2nd and 7, Patrick Queen finally getting his name out there for the first time today. He gets a beautiful stop and a stuff at the line after only a gain of 1 after they inched their way there. So now it's 3rd and 6. Deshaun Watson, he is dropped back. He's dropped back a decent amount of yards too. So on 4th down, Cleveland, they end up missing the field goal again. This is the second field goal they missed today because they were too far back. I believe it was a 43-yard field goal attempt here, and it was the weather. I got to say, it was the weather conditions, and we're in the middle of the fourth, almost near the end, too. So now on 1st and 10, Tyler Huntley, he is dropped back, and that is a loss of 6. So now on 2nd and 16, he's dropped back once again, this time for a loss of 2. It's 3rd and 18. Mark Andrews, he gets only 5. We take a timeout. It's 4th and 13. We get an incomplete pass. 1st and 10, Cleveland gains 6. 2nd and 4, Cleveland, they end up converting. They hit the 2-minute warning. Then after the 2-minute warning, it's first down. It's 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10. They end up kneeling the ball, and they end up winning the game. And this one here, it was tough to see. I'm not gonna lie. It was a low-scoring game at that, but it was a low-scoring game we did not want to see. It was a low-scoring game that we ended up losing, and we all know we hate to see Baltimore lose because that's our team. That's the team we love and the team we rep every day. I know I rep it every day, and with it being a 13-3 loss for us, I don't really know what to say. It just wasn't Baltimore like we usually do, and in some of these post-game press conferences, it really gave some clarity on what really happened. I know John Harbaugh did speak on some things. Justin Tucker, Tyler Huntley, Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey. They all spoke on some things that we need to get done and some things that we really need to execute. And the first little clip I am going to play is Justin Tucker here speaking on his field goals and such and what he feels about it.
What is your philosophy on not letting one miss turn into 2? How do you do that?
I think you have to. Let me backtrack and just answer that by saying every kick is unique in and of itself. So approaching any kick with the mindset where you're thinking about another one, whether it's the potential game winner or a kick that you missed earlier in the game. For me, approaching any kick with any mindset other than this is the kick that I need to make in this moment in time, that's just doing myself and my teammates a disservice. So, did I happen to miss a couple today in a row? Yeah, I definitely did, and I did. When we go out there and we put points on the board, we make the kick. And today I missed 2 that just happened to be back to back in a tough environment with tough conditions. But the only thing that we can do as professionals is try to learn from what happened on a previous kick, and then treat the next one as its own unique entity, and make it for what it's worth in that moment.
And that's just the type of guy Justin Tucker is. Like I said, he missed some field goals tonight, or yesterday technically, and he owns it. He understands that not every time you're going to make that kick, everything is just going to not fall into your lap the way you want it to. He doesn't go in a mindset with that things need to happen the way they did, or things need to go the exact same way. Everything is different, everything is unique, and he understands that, and that is what makes him a great leader in the locker room. That is why, even though, like he said, they lost yesterday, that they understand what they need to get done, and that when they get points, it's a team effort. When he gets points, it's still a team effort. There is no I in team, and that's just the type of man Justin Tucker is. But John Harbaugh, during his press conference and his post-game interview, he also had some very good points to make, as he will speak on them in just 1 second, as him being the head coach knows what needs to get done, and he speaks on it a lot better than I ever could, so I'm going to let John Harbaugh speak on that.
I mean, you didn't score a touchdown tonight, but it's been now 2 touchdowns over the last 3 games. It's kind of like what you're talking about. What needs to really change for?
Yeah, we just have to start scoring touchdowns. In terms of what really needs to change, to your question, but we've got to do things better. You can't turn the ball over. You got to run routes the right way to get between defenders and get between the ball. You can't fumble the ball. You got to put the ball away when you're getting upfield. That's just winning football. Our guys know that. So it starts with that. We've got to just have a better passing game. Basically, it's not a good enough passing game right now across the board to do the things that we're hoping to do. So that'll be priority 1. Every area can get better at something and certain things, but from an offensive standpoint, that's something that we've got to go to work on, and we will.
And that I couldn't agree more. Like, we didn't score any touchdowns last night, and we've only scored a handful over the past 3 games, and that's really where we fell short. Is we're not lately putting up enough points on the board. We're not getting we're getting to the red zone, but we're not getting in the end zone like we should be, and that's the problem lately. That is what's been happening with Baltimore, and we can get to the red, but we can't get in the end zone. And yesterday was just another example of that, of where we need to step up and where our areas need to get better. And honestly, I don't know what more to say about it. I don't know how to speak on it any better. We just need to get things done. We just need to get things handled and taken care of faster and better. But that is how we will go out in Week 15 against the Cleveland Browns at a loss of 13-3. Honestly, Ravens flock, like I said, it was a tough game to watch. It was a hard one. It was a tough one. It pulled at the heartstrings for all of us. We all understand that. We all know that. But with that being said, next week we'll be playing at home at M&T Bank Stadium on Christmas Eve, again on a Saturday, 2 Saturdays in a row, against the Atlanta Falcons when they come to our house. And honestly, with it being Christmas Eve, we're going to give them a run for the money. It's going to be a 1 o'clock game, so I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to have one next Sunday, because next Sunday, to all those who celebrate, will be Christmas. So I might have it done, I might not. It may come out the following Monday on December 26th, but I don't know yet. I'm not sure, but I don't know how many times I'm going to say that word. With all that being said, thank you, Ravens flock, for listening once again. And even though it was a loss, we all stay together as the Ravens flock and as Baltimore Ravens fans. I will see you all in the next episode of Baltimore Talk. I've been your host, Anthony Propst. Goodbye.